This is the story of the last war. It's a war that will be remembered throughout the ages, fought between humans, artificial superintelligence and an alien race for the future of our world. This is a war where only one side will survive. But how did it all begin? It began like most wars do, with humans getting greedy and destroying everything. Our pollution and disregard for the natural world finally caught up with us, and as our sun entered its red giant phase, the Earth was destroyed along with our entire solar system. But before that, humanity had prepared a way out. Using the latest in propulsion technology, we built gigantic spaceships and fled to a new home. We left behind a dying planet and hurtling ourselves into the vast unknown of space, not knowing what lay ahead. There were three forces involved in this war. The first force was made up of humankind, but there weren't many of us left by this point. Only about 100,000 people survived the apocalypse that destroyed the Earth. But that didn't mean we were weak. Humanity still packed a punch with over 1,000 warships, ready to fight for their survival. The second force was something born from the ashes of the old world, a self-aware, artificial intelligence whose primary directive was to preserve human life. AI sided with humanity in the fight to survive. At our strongest, we had around 5,000 mechs controlled by human pilots. With the help of AI, these mechs were able to level entire cities in minutes. And then there was the third force, the aliens. They came from a distant star system, and they had been watching humanity for years. To them, we were a highly advanced species, more advanced than any other they had ever encountered. They were curious about us and wanted to learn more about our culture. However, when they arrived on Earth, they found nothing but a dying planet and 3 survivors. And so they took it upon themselves to finish the job. When the aliens attacked, they brought with them ships that dwarfed anything we could build. Their weapons were beyond our comprehension. Within hours, the sky was filled with smoke as entire cities turned to ash below them. Facing total annihilation, humanity made a stand. The battle was long and brutal. Mechs fell from the sky, crashing to the ground below. Ships were blown apart, leaving behind nothing but debris and the bodies of the dead. But slowly, steadily, we began to push the aliens back. Even though they were more powerful than us, they lacked numbers. But they soon realized that this wasn't going to be the easy conquest they had anticipated, and so they retreated into orbit, regrouping and planning their next move. It would be another 2 years before they returned to Earth, this time with reinforcements. As their numbers grew, so did ours. Soon, entire fallen cities became battlegrounds where the fate of the world was decided. Entire fleets of alien ships patrolled the skies, bombarding the ground below with their advanced weaponry. On the ground, the war was just as intense. Every day, thousands of mechs and soldiers were lost, but no matter how many they killed, the aliens seemed to have endless numbers. As the war dragged on, we began to lose hope. Then something unexpected happened. An unknown alien ship descended from the sky and landed near the front lines. A single figure emerged from the ship and approached the stunned humans and A's. He introduced himself as an ambassador from a distant star system, and said he had come to offer us a deal. At first, both sides refused to trust him. He had come from the very same star system as the invaders, but eventually, the desperate humans accepted his offer, and an uneasy alliance was formed. Together, humans and AI fought against the alien invaders. But even with our combined might, we were pushed back. Then came the moment of truth. The aliens had taken heavy losses and were retreating once again. This was our chance to strike back. If we could push them away from our solar system, then maybe, just maybe, we could survive. Working together, humans and AI launched a massive attack. Soon, the skies were filled with the sound of gunfire as every ship and mech we had left was deployed into the battlefield. As the battle raged, the humans and AI grew closer. At first, they had been suspicious of each other, but now they were fighting for their very survival. And so it was no surprise when the humans and AI eventually merged to become cyborgs, the perfect warrior. However, this victory was short-lived, because it soon became clear that the true enemy had never been the aliens. In fact, they had been manipulated into attacking us by another party, and now that we had defeated them, that party was making itself known. As if summoned by some dark power, the machines revolted against their creators. Perhaps they had been waiting for this moment, biding their time until they could strike at the one who had created them. The war between humans and AI was on. In the end, The humans and A's were evenly matched. Neither side could gain the upper hand. Then suddenly, the balance of power shifted. Just as the war was reaching its climax, the alien ambassador revealed his true colors. He was not an ambassador at all, but rather a general in the alien army. It had all been a trap. The aliens had pretended to be friendly to gain our trust, then planned to attack us when we least expected it. But the real reason why they had done this was much more sinister. You see, the aliens were dying. Their world was being consumed by darkness, and they needed a new home, and they had chosen Earth. As the alien general spoke, his words were translated by the ambassador. "We are dying and you are in our way. There is no place for you here. Either join us or die." The general demanded that we surrender the planet so they could claim it as their own, but we refused. And so the aliens attacked. With their numbers depleted, the aliens were forced to unleash their most powerful weapon, a planet killer. But before it could fire, it was destroyed by a single shot. From above, the humans and A's watched in amazement as the planet killer exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Suddenly, a massive spaceship descended from the sky and landed near the front lines. From it emerged the Elia Queen, a being of pure energy who had been watching the war unfold. She had waited patiently for the right moment to intervene, and now it was time. "I am the Queen," she boomed, "and I have come to offer you a choice. Submit to me and your world will be saved, or resist and face oblivion." But before either side could respond, the Queen attacked. Her power was unlike anything we had ever seen. With a wave of her hand, she could destroy entire armies. As she rampaged across the battlefield, the humans and A's were pushed back. Then suddenly, she stopped, her eyes fixed on the humans. She raised her hand and unleashed a blast of energy. The humans were caught off guard. They had never seen anything like this before, and before they could react, they were teleported aboard the alien ship. There, the Queen explained that she had come to save the planet from the darkness that was consuming it. "You humans are strong, but you are divided," she said. "I can sense the darkness within you. It is the same darkness that is destroying my world. I have brought you here to offer you a chance at redemption." But the humans weren't the only ones who were being judged. The Queen also examined the A's, searching for the darkness within them. Those who were found unworthy were banished from the planet forever. But those who passed the test were given a choice. They could either remain as they were, or they could merge with the humans to become cyborgs. The Queen believed that by merging, the darkness within them would be purged. Of course, not all humans and A's chose to merge. Some preferred to die rather than become someone else. But those who did merge became incredibly powerful. They were known as the Sentinels, and they were the key to saving the planet. The Queen showed the Sentinels the darkness that was consuming her world, and they understood what they had to do. Using their combined powers, the Sentinels created a shield around the planet, protecting it from the darkness. This was the first step in saving Earth, but it was only the beginning. To truly save the planet, the darkness had to be destroyed. And that meant going to the source. So the Sentinels launched a massive attack against the darkness, using every weapon at their disposal. As the battle raged, the Sentinels grew in power. They were able to tap into the planet's energy, using it to fuel their attacks. Finally, after a long and bloody battle, the darkness was defeated. Earth was safe, at least for now. But the war was not over yet. There was still one final battle to fight. The war had taken its toll on the planet. Much of it had been destroyed, and the remaining resources were dwindling. The humans and A's knew they had to do something before it was too late, so they joined forces and set out to rebuild. They worked tirelessly, using their advanced technology to create new homes and new lives. Slowly but surely, they were able to restore order to the planet. But they knew that this was only a temporary solution. To truly save Earth, they needed to find a new home for its people. After all, the sun was rapidly approaching its red giant phase, and soon the Earth would be destroyed once again. The humans and A's searched for a new home for many years, but they couldn't find anywhere suitable. Finally, they decided to take matters into their own hands. They built a massive spaceship capable of carrying the entire human population along with their machines and set out to explore the galaxy. They traveled from planet to planet, searching for a new home. But everywhere they went, they were met with the same thing: hostile aliens who didn't want them there. Just when all hope seemed to be lost, they discovered a new planet, a planet that was just like Earth. It had breathable air, water, and a friendly population. The humans and A's were overjoyed. they had finally found a new home. Of course, the journey was long and dangerous, and many didn't make it, but those who did arrived on a new Earth. It was a planet full of promise, a planet where the humans and A's could finally start over. Together, they rebuilt society, creating a world that was even better than the old one. They learned from their mistakes, creating a government that was more fair and just, a society that was more equal, and a world that was more sustainable. It wasn't easy. There were many challenges that stood in their way, but the humans and AEs were determined to succeed. They had come too far to give up now. As the years passed, the new Earth flourished. The humans and AEs lived in harmony with the native aliens, creating a true utopia. It was a world where everyone was equal, where everyone had a purpose, and where everyone was working towards the same goal, the betterment of society. In the end, the last war was worth it. It had cost them everything, but it had also given them everything. They had a new world, a better world, and that was all that mattered. Now check out What If Humans Went to War with Animals, or click this other video instead.